Wolves finally find their bite against the former champions. Liverpool succumb to a controversial defeat at the Tottenham Stadium. Manchester United troubles continue. And Arsenal and Havertz were on the score sheet. We discussed that and more on the Soccer Huddle. Welcome to the Soccer Huddle. This is your boy Mujer Wait, just an ordinary guy discussing the beautiful game, discussing Kwili, Mautu. Another weekend, another action-packed weekend of the EPL. We saw lots of goals, controversial decisions again. VAR coming into the spotlight again instead of the beautiful game, and I think. And I've said this before on our channel, VAR was meant to we must not have these controversial talks, these controversial decisions by referees in our game. But VAR has somehow, or wants to take over the beautiful game, wants to be the one in the spotlight each and every single week. We sit, we analyze games, and we speak more about decisions taken wrongly by a VAR official or by referees instead of sitting here analyzing and discussing the beautiful game. And that is what we want to see. Beautiful game. If VAR doesn't work, let's leave it. Let's chuck it. Because we are having more discussions about VAR instead of having discussions about the beautiful game, analyzing our team's weaknesses, analyzing our team's strong points. What can we do as a team, or what does our team need to strengthen? What does our team need to change in terms of tactics, in terms of formations, in terms of personnel? But we sit every single week, we speak about VAR, the solution that was meant to solve all these problems. Anyways, I'm not going to give VAR a spotlight anymore because it is ruining our game, and it was meant to solve these problems. It was meant to solve these problems, but instead, it like for example, the game Northern Forest against Brentford. Brentford were denied a clear penalty. You could see, is it Risa or Mbemu, officially with the ball before the keeper, and he was kicked. So he got to the ball before the keeper, he was kicked. Instead of VAR or the referees giving a penalty, they gave nothing. They gave nothing, and they get away with it, and they come out and they apologize. I think that they come out and they apologize. They apologize to the public. They apologize to the team. And we've recently known Liverpool wants to take decisive measures. They want to take matters in their own hands. Ahead already trying to sue the league. And I just read before actually coming to record this that Liverpool have requested the sound recordings of those meetings between the two referees, or the referees in the VAR room and the referees on the field, because the explanation, it says the referees go VAR, they thought on-field decision was a goal and not a offside, so they were checking offside, hence the check complete, so thinking or the goal was given. Can't they? No, it was actually given offside on field. So it's a bit tricky. So Aston Villa versus Brighton. I think, this is the EPL, and this is why we love it. Like, results, and I just finally shows why we love this league so much. It is unpredictable, and this weekend finally showed that unpredictability, if there's even a word. Aston Villa beating Brighton, one of the favorites this season, 6-1. 6-1. Watkins getting his second hat-trick of the league, and they run riots against Brighton at home. Aston Villa, I think, coming to this season, Aston Villa was also one of the favorites to challenge for the top 4, top 5, top 6 position. But the first games of the league, they seemed like they were lost. They seemed like the new signings are not gelling enough with the older ones. It looked like Unai was not getting what he wanted out of his players. but they've managed to pick themselves up and look at that result, a 6-1 dropping of Brighton. That's a beautiful result. That's a great result. Unai's charges, like, they ran right against Aston Villa. I remember I was watching it. It was a early kickoff on Saturday, and Brighton looked lost. I think they looked lost. And again, a controversial call was made. Gagulia Ansu Fati, whether it was offside, whether the ball was out, but it ended up being a goal. A goal was awarded. So yeah, 6-1 to Brighton. What happened to Brighton? I think Brighton stuck to their guns. They tried to build from the back and got caught so many times by Aston Villa, and then Aston Villa punished them. They got chances and they buried them. So 6-1. That's why we love the EPL. I remember saying something where someone once said the EPL is not that exciting. The EPL is not that good or great. It is just well marketed. And I said, if that was the case, then we wouldn't be retaining customers. Because remember, if you sell us something, what you ordered versus what you get, I will never order from you again if that's the case. If I'm not getting what I've ordered for, so now credit must be given where it's due. It is well marketed, but what they market is exactly what happens on the field. We get these exciting results. We get this kind of matches. We get to see Manchester United again losing to Crystal Palace, who they beat convincingly during the week of the Carabao Cup. I think, and a lot of people raised this concern, or even if we beat Crystal Palace, that was a team B of Crystal Palace. It wasn't really their best side. And I'm gonna say something that might be controversial. I would also say the team that we put out on is it Tuesday or Wednesday when we're playing the Carabao Cup? Something's wrong with my eye. I don't know what to do. Manchester United team that played on Tuesday was better than the one that played on Saturday. And I know I'm not in the minority saying this, because if you look at the game or the performance yesterday, during the weekend, in the performance of the weekend, the team midweek were fighting. They showed hunger. They showed energy, and you could really see that they were trying to win that game. The one on Saturday, it's individual players. So the different, I think the difference between the team that played midweek and the team that played over the weekend is the midweek team was a team, and Saturday was individuals on the field. I think that's how I can put it bluntly and say there was a team performance and there was individual performance. I think the better said by Man United, the less said the better, because we've been here before. It's not like we've never been here, and we are still finding solutions. We are still trying to find solutions. We're still trying to find what's the problem. I know people want to blame Rashford, Bruno, Scott, whether you are Harry. They're trying to build or pinpoint it to different players, and others are saying Eric out. I'm like, okay. So now, here's my 2 cents. I was just telling Bazero this afternoon, or it's even a question. You can have your comments in the comment section, and there I'm saying, how many teams, or the top 6, let's just say top 6, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, let's just put Chelsea there just for the sake of argument. Chelsea, Tottenham, Aston Villa, and Brighton. Out of these 7 teams, I'm going to compare them. Out of the 7 teams, how many teams have players who've been at that club for more than 3 to 4 years? How many players have been there under 4 to 5 different managers? How many of them in the 17 I counted? And if you would look at it, Man United have got a crop of players that have been in the team for 3 to 4 years, under 3, 4, 5 different managers, and it's the same result. We change the manager, the same formula. We change the manager, we give him money, we don't sell players, and we get to where we are now. Then we start again. The cycle at Man United. You get a new manager, you give him money in the first season. The second season, but you refuse to sell. You refuse to sell the French players or the players that the manager doesn't want. You refuse to sell them where you can make money for them because you already bought them you overpriced them. You gave them contracts that other people are unable to pay them out of that contract. And then you sack the manager. Then you go again, new cycle, you get a new manager. You beg him for the first season. The second season, you're like, we don't have money. But you can't sell anyone. And how many players? We've got plus minus 5 players that have been at Man United for more than 5 to 6 years. And I know someone might say, but maybe City have got those players. Go look how many players City have retained them for those 6-7 years. And you can't make an example and say Manchester City players have been there for more than that. But the difference is they've won something. They're winning something. You can see what it is happening to Manchester City. And every single year, Pep, it's either he buys 2 players, he sells 3. Or he sells 3, buys 4 players. There's always a change. He's always trying to make his team even better with new players, new signings. New players that are hungry. Look at what happened last season with Man United. We bought a Champions League winner, 5-time Champions League winner. We bought what is it called? I'm sorry for pronouncing it wrong. We bought players who've won Netherlands, the Dutch league. They came in with that mentality, winning mentality to Manchester United. And for some weird for a certain period it worked. It was a winning formula because you could see the team was now starting to gain momentum. The team was gelling. But you could also see last season instances where Man United would go 1-0 down, or would go a goal down, and somehow their mindset just switched. They gave up. I can give you instances. At Liverpool, they gave up. Newcastle, they gave up. Man City, they gave up. You look at all those games, their heads dropped. You still have players with a weak mentality. And Erik ten Hag said it during the week. I am concerned about the mindset of my players. Because once we go down, we do not have that winning mentality. We do not have that fighting spirit to come back and win the game. And I ask you, as Soccer Huddle supporters, what is wrong at Man United? Who is at fault? We know the Glazers are at fault. Yeah, they are. They are the bigger problem. But now, let's put the Glazers aside. Let's look at the team, the manager. Who is at fault here? Because again, I say this, and I love to say this, but Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. It's insanity. Let me know what you think. Whether you're a Manchester United supporter, whether you're just a lover of football, looking outside Man United, let me know what you think is the problem in Man United. Are the players the problem, or are the managers the problem? Let's move on. Let me know in the comment section. I'll make sure I read your comments next week or in the next video. Wolves got the better of Manchester City and Molineux 2-1. Manchester City went down. They fought back. They got an equalizer. But Wolves managed to get that winning goal at the last second or the last minute of the game. And I think we've seen Wolves' potential. For me, we've seen what Wolves are capable of. They've had great games against Man United, against your Liverpool. But the problem was they did not convert those chances. And at least against the champions, they managed to get 2 chances, and they managed to score those chances. And I'm saying Neto, what a player he's been this season for Wolves. I think he's been the most problematic child in that Wolves team. Like, his speed, he takes on defenders. He's not afraid. He's a typical winger that you want. He beats his defender and he crosses or he creates for his striker. So, a surprising lose there for Manchester City. But it is what the EPL is about. It is what we know the EPL to be about. Hitting those goals. Arsenal 4, Bournemouth 0. Luton, but they scored two penalties. I think Arsenal scored two penalties. And we're not taking anything away from Bournemouth. I think Arsenal, that's a great win for Arsenal. Bournemouth have been really good. Have been good, not really good, but they've been good, and they've managed to score in three of their last games. So for Arsenal to keep a clean sheet against them there at away from home, I think it's a great result for Arsenal. I think it will help them with the momentum going to the weekend's game, the big one. Hey, they're playing against City. I think that will test Pep Guardiola, not Pep Guardiola. That will test Arteta's men if they're ready to challenge against City this season. I think it's a very big and crucial game for both teams' season. Yeah, we'll see how far Arsenal have come from the last time these two met. You know what happened the last time they met? Yeah, they just kicked them out of the running of the league. Yeah, so that's a very very good game. And I was just an early prediction for that game. Is it playing at the Emirates? Let me just check if it's Emirates or at the Emirates. Just a quick prediction. I think Arsenal will win that game. 2-1 to Arsenal. But their cause has not been helped by the result at Manchester City by the grilling against Wolves. They will want to replay. Not replay, reply, obviously. There's Champions League games in between the fixture. But I am giving Arsenal the win. I think I've been too harsh on Arsenal this past few weeks. But I feel Arsenal at the Emirates, they still have that never die attitude. They have supporters on their back act as their 12 men, and I think they can really rally again on Sunday, and they can get that win against City. And if not, how can we still count them as title contenders? And the surprise result of the weekend: Luton Town finally getting a win against Everton. Look, guys, I don't understand. I don't think you guys understand how EPL is exciting. Like each and every week, we see different results that we would expect. I expected at least a draw from Everton. I thought Everton was gonna win or a draw. Luton Town has been playing like a team that can win, but they finally got their win at Goodison Park. No Khan. At Goodison Park. Remember how Arsenal struggled to get a win a few weeks back for Goodison Park. But Luton went there. They got their 3 points. 2 goals and 3 points. The final game that we cover tonight, Tottenham versus Liverpool. That controversial game where we saw 2 red cards to Liverpool. And Liverpool supporters feel or they were robbed. Those were never red cards, and the goal should have stood. And I say to them, Casemiro's last season 2 red cards. We can also say that 2 red cards were not on our side. There's a penalty. Romero Irile against Arsenal was given. Against us, it wasn't given. So VAR is like karma. VAR is like karma. Do not ever expect it not to come to your house. It will visit you. It will visit you. Today we are laughing at Liverpool. Next week can be Arsenal. The other week can be Manchester City. The other week can be Chelsea. So VAR is like karma. It will happen. It will come to one of you. It will knock. It is the inconsistency of VAR affects all the teams. Aona Motakatlang and says my team is not being favored by VAR because all of our teams have been affected, whether intentionally or unintentionally, by VAR. And this is the solution that was supposed to sort out these issues. This was the solution that was supposed to make the game better. But instead, it made it worse. And what do? They come out and say, sorry. Sorry. Imagine. Anyways, let me know what you think of your team's performance over the week. And you can also give me your early predictions on the big game. I know there's other games, but let's just the big game. Manchester City versus Arsenal. What are your predictions there? And what did you make of this week's results? Luton pulling a win out of Everton, or Wolves finally getting the bite against their former champions, and Liverpool and or Tottenham and Liverpool's 5-game unbeaten run, and obviously Erik ten Hag's man, toothless, until we meet again. Remember, prevention is better than cure. Don't risk it unless it's worth it. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the page. Like. Until we meet again.